Welcome to Season 10, Episode 0 of the Ubuntu Podcast. It's Tuesday, the 21st of February, and we're going to discuss what we've been up to since the end of Season 9. I'm Alan, and joining me this week is Martin. Hello, Martin.
Hello there, how are you?
Hey, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, very well, thank you.
Super. And Mark. Hello, Mark. How are you?
Hello. I'm not well, but I'm on the mend, so I'm sorry if I sound a bit groggy. I assure you I'll be better by Episode 1.
Good. Suck a fisherman's friend, or whatever it is we do these days.
Can't say that.
So, what? It's a common sweet. Everyone knows that. So, Martin, what have you been up to since we were last chatting, which was like weeks and weeks and weeks ago?
Yeah. It was over 2 months ago, I think, wasn't it? Last time we actually sat and recorded. Well, I suppose the highlight of that break was when we all got back together again and had a curry at Mark's local curry house.
That was so nice.
A few weeks ago. Yeah. I think we need to nominate that the official curry destination from now on. That was really good. Really good.
They do a good curry.
Yes, for those who don't know, we get together every year once to have the curry to decide whether we're going to have another season of this podcast. And clearly, the fact that you're listening to this means we did decide to do another season of this. And it was delicious, wasn't it? We've had it in different places. We've been there before. And we've been to my local curry house once or twice. It's a nice way to kick off the new year of podcasting.
Yeah.
What about you, Mark? What have you been up to? Anything interesting?
My main thing is that I bought a new graphics card to upgrade my Steam box.
Ooh.
Yeah. So I've been waiting because when I built my Steam box, I bought a case to go under my telly, which is a micro ATX case, but it's a PC case,
right?
But
that makes more sense.
Yes, it's micro ATX form factor, but it's low profile, so you can't fit a big graphics card in it. You can only fit a sort of half height graphics card in it, which I've been waiting basically since I bought it for someone to release a low profile graphics card that's worth buying.
Are they not common?
Not terribly, or at least not decent ones. You can get sort of like passively cooled ones which aren't particularly powerful. But if you want an actual decent gaming one, there hasn't really been. There was one released about the time I bought the box. So I built the box when I couldn't afford it. And there's just been another couple released which are decent. So it's a NVIDIA GTX 1050 Ti, which is
nice.
Yes, it's quite nice.
Yeah.
And I guess you've been doing a lot of gaming on that thing then.
I have. I also went out and bought some games from the Humble store to test drive the new graphics card. So
you have to buy new stuff, new games. In order to test
absolutely.
drive
I can't just play the same old games on the new graphics card to be pointless.
No, there's no fun in that, is there?
No. So yeah.
What about you, Martin? Have you been buying stuff?
Yes, apparently I have. Well, for Christmas, I got an LG G Watch, which is a first generation Android Wear watch.
It's not like the baby G Watch that everyone had when I was at school.
No, not that one. No, different kind of G Watch.
Okay.
And the real reason I got that is because I wanted to give Asteroid OS a spin, which we discussed towards the end of season 9.
Oh, yeah.
But actually, it's still running Android Wear. I'm quite impressed. I quite like it. The only thing is the battery life is temperamental. You can sometimes run for 2 days or sometimes half a day. And it's really frustrating when you get the half a day outcome when you've got a day in London and by 12:30 in the afternoon, your watch is just a lump of plastic strapped to your arm and of no use whatsoever.
Were you not a Pebble person?
Yep, I've still got my Pebbles.
So do you wear one on each wrist or something?
No, I alternate. So one day I wear a Pebble, one day I wear the Android watch. Mostly the Android watch I'm using for fitness tracking because it does that stuff a bit better. But at some point I'm going to give Asteroid OS a go as well.
Yeah, interesting. Mark, did you buy the... there's a recent Humble Bundle which got millions of pounds.
Oh, the Humble
charity.
Freedom Bundle.
That's the one. Did you buy that one?
I did buy that, yeah. I had quite a few of the games in it already.
Yes.
But there are also quite a few in there which I have been sort of looking to buy anyway, and some which were on Linux which I hadn't seen before. So I thought it was definitely worthwhile. And also it had a Cory Doctorow audiobook, and I quite like his books, so I thought that was worth it as well.
Quite
is that
good
still
value for money, isn't it?
It is. There's an awful lot of stuff in there. It's not a pay what you want one. It's fixed price at something like, what is it, $30?
Yeah.
But you get an awful lot for $30.
Is it still running, or is that offer over now?
I think certainly by the time this goes out, it'll be over.
Right.
I think.
Okay. Yeah, I bought a game that was, it's as we record this, and I think when this is published, it will still be on 50% discount, which is On Her Majesty's something or other, which I put in my wish list ages ago, and that I got a notification for that a couple of days ago. So I've purchased that, but I haven't had a chance to play it yet.
So I've just checked so that we're up to date, and the Freedom Bundle has already finished, and I neglected to buy it. I actually bought it as a present for someone else. I forgot to buy it for myself, like an idiot.
Yeah,
I've got like you say, I got most of the games. In fact, one of them I've played a bit before a long while ago, which is called the Stanley Parable, which I quite like.
Yes,
and,
we were playing that before we went for curry, weren't we?
Yes, and I played it again. I was triggered by the fact that this bundle came out, so I thought I'd play it again on my laptop. And so I was playing it again recently and discovered 2 more alternate endings that I'd never discovered previously. I've never played the game 100% and and discovered all the endings. I kind of know what most of them are, but I discovered some extra parts of the game that I'd never seen before. So that was really nice, just to get some extra value out of a game that I already owned.
Yeah, it is really good fun, that game.
So what about you, Popey? What have you been up to?
I've not been playing a lot of games, that's for sure, because my house is being a bit disrupted by some decorating and fixing that we're doing, and so my Steam box has been packed away, which has more upset my son than me, because he plays a lot of games on it, and so he's not able to play on that. So I've mostly been playing with my little Piecade thing, playing some old arcade games.
Cool.
And also had some disruption in that my car broke multiple times over the last couple of months. So I've gone from having 18 months of not having a car, or rather having a car and it not being on the road because I work from home and I don't need to have the car on the road, to having a car on the road and having it to go into the garage 3 times in a row in the space of 2 weeks. And when you go from not having a car for a long period of time to then spending lots and lots and lots of money to fix a car, you kind of think, maybe I was better off not having a car after all. You've been doing some stuff with your car, haven't you, Martin?
I have. I've hacked my car.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it is now smarter than it was before I hacked it.
Oh, it's a smart car.
More or less. Well, not the smart car, the little car. It's my car with some smartness in it now.
Oh, okay.
Does it not normally have smartness in it?
No, it was as dense as the driver previously, but now it has some smarts about it. Yeah, this is as a result of getting an Amazon Echo and then finding ways to then connect things together. So I've got an OBD link plugged into the diagnostics port of the car, and I can now siphon off all manner of telemetry and integrate that into other stuff. So
How does that come off? Via Bluetooth or something else?
Yeah. So that comes off as Bluetooth to a device. So I'm currently using an old phone as the end point for that. But then you can do some rather nifty sort of compound geofencing and things like tell you what your fuel levels are. Or remind you what your fuel levels are, because I don't drive my car very often now, and a couple of times I've practically run it to 0 fuel without realising, because I'm just not in the habit of looking at the fuel gauge.
I've done that for my entire life. Right? I've coasted down hills into petrol stations in order to fill it up. I love running my car right to empty. It's a joyous thing.
So now all the 10% offsets I get push over notifications for the fuel levels, and actually this will be more useful for doing the same adaptation to my wife's car, because on occasion I have driven home from work and actually found my wife's car randomly somewhere in the village where it ran out of fuel. So she is a worse offender than me at this.
I actually bought myself one of these ODB dongles with the hope of having a better fuel gauge, because the fuel gauge on my car is absolutely meaningless. But unfortunately, I discovered that it doesn't report the fuel level to the ODB port. So I fell at the first hurdle there.
Oh,
yeah, it depends on the car. Some cars don't report
Yeah.
all the data. Like I bought one, and this was a couple of years ago, and I plugged it into the ODB port on my Volvo, and promptly the battery went flat in the car because this cheap Chinese ODB like Bluetooth adapter was plugged into the car, and it just drained the car completely dead. So yeah, I gave up with ODB devices after that.
Yeah, I've got a couple. I think the one I'm using at the moment is called a Carista or something like that, and that seems to work quite well. And actually advertises does not drain your car battery, so that was a good feature to look for.
Yeah.
Oh. So in terms of Amazon, I got an Echo at the end of last year, just a little Echo Dot that I put in the lounge, and I only really used it for listening to radio and putting music on, and streaming audio and stuff like that. But then over Christmas, I got some of those internet connected light bulbs, and entertain the kids dramatically by coming into the room and saying, "Alexa, turn the lights on," and then the lights come on and the kids are like, "How does that work? That's just magical." And then once they've got the apps, they can override whatever I say. So I'd say, turn the lights on, and Sophie just like puts the Hue app on her phone and just turns all the lights down again. I'm like, ruin the magic.
You've gone with Philips Hue lights.
I went with those. I was given some, so yes.
Right.
But I'm open to trying lots of other things. The one thing that Claire said the other night was we should have Alexa hooked up to the other lights, because we've got a bunch of other lights in the room which are controlled by one of those little cheap on-off wireless switch things that's got like 4 different sets of on-off switches. And you plug things into sockets into the wall and then turn them on and off with the remote. And we actually turn our TV off at night with that. So I go clunk and turn the telly off. But there's another one for lights. And Claire said, wouldn't it be good if we could tell Alexa to turn the TV off and turn all the other lights on? And I said, well, actually, it's funny you should say that. I bought a wireless 433 megahertz module off eBay just recently to do exactly that. So it's great, because she keeps preempting me by saying things like, wouldn't it be good if I could just say turn the lights off? And I'm like, well, it's funny you should say that.
I've already spent the money.
Here's one I made earlier.
I've made an investment in your idea, Claire. So yeah,
Excellent.
That's going quite well. I'm quite enjoying the old telling Alexa what to do.
Yeah. So you've got just one Dot, or have you got more than one?
We've got 2 Dots now, one upstairs, one downstairs.
Yeah. So I started with the full-sized Echo. That was in the office, but now that's in the kitchen, and I've got an Echo Dot in the office now. And I'm slowly getting more and more impressed with this. The more I play with it, the more I want to do with it. So yeah, I can see this year is spare time is going to be invested in making more things Alexa integrated.
I think that's the thing, is hooking it up to other stuff, and it's all very good, all very well saying, Alexa, tell me a joke, and Alexa, what's the weather tomorrow, and stuff like that. But when you actually hook it up and make useful things, like I said to Claire, when you're driving home, it could know where you are based on like your location data from your phone, know when you're near home and turn the heating on or turn the lights on to greet you in the winter, or make sure that the house is welcoming to you when you come home. That kind of stuff, and that seemed interesting to her. So
yeah, and that's where my little smarter car hack originates from, to integrate with the Echo to start to do things. But I haven't got the lights yet. That's a purchase for next month. I've been saving up for some lights to do a couple of rooms. So yeah, I'm looking forward to having a crack at that.
So it seems like we've all been pretty busy over the last couple of months. So what's coming up? What can our listeners expect from us over the coming months?
Nothing. That's it. This was the episode. Season 10. We're done.
We got to double figures.
Right,
there we go.
Shut up shop. We're done.
Don't panic. That's
so
it.
The one big change is obviously Laura is no longer going to be a participant in the show on each week, but you kind of knew that already, didn't you? Mm-hmm. But we'll continue to have her super vocal talent for our stings throughout the episodes throughout the year. So we will ask her nicely to say nice things, which we will inject into the show. So look out for those. More variety than the usual. Please get in touch with sting that you've heard last year.
Yeah. But in Laura's place, we are going to continue what we did at the end of last season, and we're going to have more guest presenters. So, it seems to be the hot new thing for podcasts who have lost a presenter to start having guest presenters instead.
I'd like to say
and as we set that trend, we are going to carry it on.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Have we contacted any of the prospective guest presenters yet?
Hopefully by the time they hear this, yes.
If you've been on the Ubuntu podcast before, expect a call to service, and if you haven't, also expect a call to service. I think we're going to broaden the net a little bit this time as well, aren't we?
Yeah.
So, what about format, Martin?
We're still going to knock out a show every week, and we're going to have a show that's going to run for approximately half an hour. We're not going to be quite so regimented on the exact half-hour timing, but more or less half an hour long.
Sweet.
Yeah.
And when can people expect the first one?
The first proper episode will be released on March the 9th. And from March the 9th, there'll be a show every Thursday until the end of the year.
And that'll contain the usual segments you know and love, and some you'll love even more. Yeah. Mark, actually, one of you needs to change your name because I can't say your names. Mark, how can listeners get in touch and tell us what they want to do, what they want us to do over the next coming year?
Well, I'm glad you asked, Alan. We've been chatting a lot with our listeners recently in our Telegram channel between shows, so you can come and join the conversation in our Telegram group, which you can get to by going to ubuntupodcast.org/telegram, and that will sort you out.
Yeah, there's a Telegram client for the desktop, and there's also one for mobile phones. I strongly recommend you turn off your notifications because it can get a bit chatty in there, and you don't want to get pinged all hours of the day and night.
Yes, it's not just the three of us. There's hundreds of other listeners in there as well, talking about the show and a whole raft of Ubuntu-y things as well. So there's lots of conversation running in there.
Join us and bring your animated GIFs.
Yep, and your ideas for the show and your feedback.
Well,
yeah.
Yes, and enjoy absurd stickers of Martin.
Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome. So is that everything? Is there anything else we need to mention?
I think that sets things up, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I think
tell your friends.
Tell your friends. Tell your friends we're back. And if they didn't know we existed in the first place, tell your friends we exist.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Well, that's all for episode 0. We'll be back, as Martin said, on March the 9th with episode 1. See you then. Bye-bye.